Now this section we're going to look at now supporting the Windows 10 environment. This is very interesting topics. This section we're going to discuss Windows 10 architectures, Windows architectures, support and diagnostic tools, monitoring and troubleshooting computer performance. First topics we're going to look at Windows architectures. Windows architectures, we have a Windows 10 devices, Windows 10 architectures, examining the desktop support environment, key stages and terminology of a troubleshooting methodology. So these topics we're going to look at. Windows 10 devices. Windows 10 supports a number of device types, including desktop and laptop computers, tablets and mobile devices. Right, so many different scenario we are using this Windows 10 operating systems. Windows 10 architectures, we have operating systems kernel and system services and applications. Operating systems, we have Windows kernel. Kernel means they are all the operating systems, coding, files, and top of that we have the device driver. And top of that we have executive services, Windows RT APIs and .NET framework. Top of the .NET framework we have all these desktop applications is running, and universal applications they using Windows RT APIs and also .NET framework. And Windows Store app they using this RT. RT is for the mobile applications. Right? So once we need to have a kernel. Kernel is the actual operating systems and device drivers. So those two things is part of your operating systems. And top of that, you have a .NET framework. And top of the .NET framework, all the applications, the drives, and all other things they are running over there. All the Windows applications is running top of the .NET framework. Have you done any programming? Little bit. Python?
Just from like start HTML.
HTML, CSS.
Yeah.
Okay. So examining the desktop support environments, we have a workgroups, domains, and cloud-based services. We have workgroup computers, we have a domain environment, and cloud-based services. So Windows 10 supports all these three environments. Key stages and terminology of a troubleshooting methodology: classifications, testing, escalations, and reporting. Is saying that how you troubleshoot Windows 10. You need to classify what kind of issues you're having. After that, you test, then you escalate and do reporting. So next sections we're going to look at how we can use the support and diagnostic tools. In order to troubleshooting purposes, we have many different kind of tools such as task managers, resource monitoring, event viewer, performance monitoring, reliability monitoring, Microsoft Message Analyzer. This is another tools, process explorer and process monitoring, diagnostics and recovery tool sets, steps recorder, Microsoft Management Console, overview of the registry, working with the registry, some additional tools. So we have quite a good number of tools in order to troubleshoot all these stuffs. So task managers, which is one of the most common things we are using every day-to-day basis. If you want to check your CPU, memory, disk, and network utilizations, you can go to task managers and you'll be able to check those stuffs from there. Many different scenario we have looked at. System may get hanged, system may not working properly, some particular applications is not moving, you can't close that applications, you can't on turn on that application. So those kind of scenarios we are using this task managers in order to check in order to check the processes, what are the processes they are running in the background. There are many other things we can see from here, but another important tools, resource monitoring. Resource monitoring is very useful. If you want to check your CPU utilizations and what is your current situations, which particular processes they are using your CPU, you can identify from here. This is very useful tools. Disk, if you want to check the disk read write capability, you'll be able to check from here. Network, whether your network card is busy or not, what is the data transfer rate and stuff, you'll be able to check from there. Memory, you'll be able to see the all utilizations, how they are using this memory and memory utilizations, and which particular applications or systems they're using your memory a lot. You'll be able to check from here in a more granular way. It has more breakdowns. So resource monitoring is very important. Event viewer, this is very good tools. If you want to troubleshoot anything, something is not working, you need to go back to event viewer and then check particular applications or systems, and you can find out why something is working or not working, why they are not working. You'll get specific events around that. Then performance monitoring. Performance monitoring is also important. You can check again, you can check like your disk, memory, CPU utilizations. You can check from here. This is another graphical view. You can see the utilizations. If you see the high speak, that means high utilizations. Low speak means lower utilizations. And internally, from your CPU, memory, or disk, you may have many different variables. Each of the variables you'll be able to monitor from here. We'll see one. We're going to look at all of these things and see how all of these things works and help us. Another thing called reliability monitoring. Reliability monitoring is, it will tell you more on hardware informations. For example, something happened with your systems. You'll get a cross over there. You can see the specific time and you can go to that specific time and you can check what happened, which particular hardware failed. This one will
That
provide
picture is the failed hardware.
something happened,
Yeah.
not directly failed, something happened over there. And you can, there's a one thing called stability record. So if you have a stability graphic is number 10, that means your system is stable. But if it is sitting on somewhere around 1, that means it's not stable.
So where do you look for reliable monitor? You just type on the.
It will not come in this way. There's a perfmon space slash rel. There's a one command you need to put, then it will come up. We're going to check all of them one by one. because they're all small thing, one page. So if you go one and go back, it will be a lot of move around. But we looked at this and then we check each of them. Another thing called Microsoft Message Analyzer. This is one of the applications or apps you can download from online, and then you can use this one. With this one, we will be able to check that particular um, a particular time input output of particular applications. What are the usage? We'll be able to see those stuffs.
Why, so it shows the IP address there, right?
Yeah, what IP address, what are the destinations address you're communicating, request, and all these stuffs. Utilizations, IP utilizations you'll be able to see. It's pretty similar like Wireshark.
Mm. So this is useful when something goes wrong in the hardware, or
Yeah, this is useful to check the network utilizations, input output utilizations from your network, how the traffic is utilizing is a packet capturing. You can see what packet is coming and going, those kind of things you'll be able to see.
like if, if the internet is slow or fast, or it will.
Internet you'll not be able to see that way. This is more on packet capturing. What packet is coming and going, those kind of things you'll be able to see. But in order to check the internet and other stuff, then you can check this performance. Network, network card, how the network is performing, you'll be able to see those stuffs. Process Explorer. Process Explorer is another options or process monitoring. We'll be able to see what particular process um, taking a lot of resources, right? For example, this one taking high CPU utilizations, then private bytes, working sets. But we are looking at processes, which process is taking a lot of CPU power. So those kind of things you'll be able to check from the Process Explorer or process monitoring from there. Then diagnostics and recovery tools. Choose a recovery tool, registry editors, and there are a lot of other tools available over there. This is one of the applications. It can be downloaded from online and can be used this one as well. Another thing is the steps recorder. Have you used this one? Steps recorder means you can check all the steps. For example, we are configuring some virtual machines or something. All the steps will be able to record with this one. So this is very, very good tools, step recorders. For example, what you are studying, so you can record that particular all parts. Like for example, you click there, click there, click there, click there. It will create all the steps for you with a snapshot. It's very good tools.
Can we like get the steps from yesterday and like,
No, when you enable, when you start this one from that period of time, it will create all the steps for you. This is very good to capture the you know configurations and stuff. You can use this one. It's very good tools. So Microsoft Management Console. This is one of the console. In here, you can create your own console. For example, some particular things you want to manage every day, like a group policy, activity users and computers, and Windows servers update management. So you can create your own console. Console means When you open this one, your desired tab will be there.
Mm.
That's called MMC. Okay, we're going to look at this one as well. Then registry settings. Registry means in the registry editors, you have very granular control. Like overall, many things we can change. Username, for example, you can change. But if you want to change from the um, systems entirely, you need to go inside this registry editor settings and you can make changes from there. That means it has a lot of granular control you can do from here. You can simple way to describe this one. You can always make a lot of changes in your desktop computers, but in the registry settings you'll find more options. It has more features you can configure from there. So some features you cannot control over there, you can configure from there.
From registry.
Registry, yes.
Does it require like does it require certain key password or something, or just you can do it?
If you're an administrator, you'll be able to do
Yeah.
this one, yeah. But there's no specific password for that. So working with registry, so reg edit, this is the locations you can make some changes. You can do many stuff from the PowerShell as well and group policy as well. Additional tools, we have a system internals, Windows performance toolkits. There are some additional tools we have. So monitoring and troubleshooting computer performance. This section is going to look at key performance components in Windows 10, establishing a performance baseline, performance monitoring, optimizing disk and memory performance, and configuring indexes. Key performance components in Windows 10, you should monitor those four main hardware components such as processor, disk, memory, and network, right? Which we have looked at in previous sections. A performance bottleneck occurs when a computer is unable to service the current request from a user resource, right? For example, you want to open one of the web page. If you want to open a PowerPoint slides, but if you can't do that, means is the service is busy in some places.
So what does it mean by can't open PowerPoint?
Like when you double click, it's not opening. It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
like it's disabled, like it's not opening at all. Or if you want to close, you see that is not responding. For example, if I close this one, maybe it says not responding. That means this application is not working anymore. I have to wait and see like when it will be
Yeah.
okay. So those kind of scenario, that means something happened with your processor. Could be disk issues, could be something happened with memory. Is filled up, memory is full of with other things. That's why you can't access this one.
There's times where where Google Chrome is not responding.
It could be, yeah.
Is that the process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be any of them.
In my computer other applications are not open. Only Google Chrome is open, but still it says not responding.
So that means that particular applications having some problem to accessing the memory, or from the processing systems, it's actually not working properly. It cannot, your processor cannot process that particular things you are trying to do. During that time, we need to close that particular from the task managers, we can manage these systems. We can close that particular process and open again, and that's how it can get fixed.
I think it normally happens when you go from different websites. If you open different tabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can happen that way as well, yeah. If you open many tabs and stuff, automatically your memory will be utilized. You may have a shortage of memory.
So different tabs that utilize memory, no
Yes.
processor.
It depends what you do. Memory it will definitely take, but when you make some changes, is processor. For example, yeah, we're going to look at that. A performance bottleneck occurs when a computer is unable to service the current request for a specific resource. Establishing a performance baseline. You can configure a performance baseline to help you with evaluate your current computer's workload, monitoring system resources, noticing changes and trends in resource use, testing configuration changes, diagnosing problem. Okay. So performance baseline means you select, for example, your computer has certain applications and it should be running like that. You document some baseline, and after that you assess later on that why is not working. Baseline means current computer loads, monitoring system resources, noticing changes and trends in resource use, testing the configuration changes, and diagnosing the problems. Once you have a baseline, top of that you can measure like why it's not working. Maybe some particular applications is taking a bit more memory. Let's say for example Microsoft Teams. If you use Teams and Microsoft Edge, they're taking a lot of resources from your, you know, computers. They're taking a lot of memory first of all. So what if you have your baseline, then you know which applications you're running, which one consume a lot. Based on that, you can take some decisions. You may remove some of the stuffs, or you may increase your hardware performance.
So every time you open like an app or like go to a Chrome, it is taking memory instantly.
Yeah, instantly.
And like, and do videos take more memory than normal pages?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because video graphics card,
Mm.
it's organizing lot of file systems in certain levels, so it takes a lot of memory and also CPU power. So let's have a look all these things now. At first you're going to look at task managers. Oh, I got five. So at first if we looked at the task managers, look at that. Have a look, mine one, 100%. Oh, 71%. So that means something is going on. That's why my CPU jumped to 100%. Like certain things they want to execute together. That's why I need a lot of CPU power. I'm not really sure actually which one.
My task manager is opens different.
Are you in the Windows 10 computers
Yeah.
or in the servers?
Wait, since there's no running apps.
Is nothing over there? Or
Oh no, there's one. Yes, it comes like this. That's
yeah,
it.
click on more details. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
Look at this on mine one. 73%, right? But if you looked at the memory at first, 500 meg memory is utilizing by Microsoft Edge and 400 by Microsoft Teams. So they are using 1 gig memory, which is a lot. And rest of the Google Chrome, then some applications, PowerPoint, and SQL servers, WhatsApp. Oh my God. So
most of the time it's going to be megabyte, right?
yeah, megabyte. Dropbox, OneDrive, so Microsoft Outlook, all of them taking a lot of memory.
And
Y-
the numbers
Yeah, so
power usage very low, power usage.
yes. So if you looked at here, this particular application is taking 20% CPU, OneDrive, so all they are checking because something is happening over there. So this informations will change as well in a real life scenario.
Yeah, mine just is 3% CPU.
Yeah, you have a less applications running over there.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of applications running in my
Memory is
systems.
yeah, nearly the same, 77%.
Yes, and disk is utilizations means how your disk is performing over there. So there's a read write things is happening,
So
but
this is just C drive.
disk is your disk. You have a hard disk.
Hard
It's
disk.
hard disk informations, not the drive. It's a entire hard disk here. So hard disk information, so you can see how read write is happening. That's reasonable. But if your any of the systems not working or damaged, then you can see over there high utilization. For example, CPU running 100%, memory running 100%, disk read write is happening 100%. That means you have some problem over there. 100% means everything has been utilized. So you don't have any enough resources to do something else, do some more stuff. So that's not good.
So if so, how does the memory increase again if we put more programs in?
Yes, so if you open many browser and stuff, it will take a lot of memory.
So you can easily go to 100%. Like
Yes, if you open many browser, many things if you do, and if you have a limited resource, so what will happen? Your computer will not run properly.
this is monitoring the background. I mean, mostly.
All the things is happening. You can see from here, what is your CPU utilizations, what is your memory, memory means RAM, and how your disk is performing, network is performing. You can see all this. GPU is a graphical user interface. What graphics your graphics card is working, graphical processing unit, because many are display and things we are working, we display from here to there, right? So all these things is happening, so that has some values as well.
Desktop Windows Manager.
Yes, and also this is a power usage, we can see from here.
My GPU
That one may not have any graphical extra graphical processing unit and nothing happening over there, that could be another reason. Then you can see that if you have particular applications, if you don't want, you can simply stop that one. For example, Skype or any other services we don't want, we need to just select and click end task. If we end task, then that will stop. Sometimes some of the resources get hanged, but you can disable from here or end task. End means you can close that window.
okay. So if something's frozen.
Frozen, yes. So that particular things you can't. There's no way you can close that one. So only way you can do it from here. Just go over there, select that one, and just end
That's very
task.
useful.
Very useful. If you go to performance, you have look at that CPU, memory, disk, Ethernet card. I got many Ethernet card. All this information is my Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, how the Wi-Fi is performing, how the Ethernet card is performing, you can see from here. And if you open this open resource monitoring, click on that one. Resource monitoring is very good.
So in the resource monitoring, um, it's like a blue line, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the resource monitoring, right? It's
Yeah.
open for you.
So yeah, on the right, it's those. Do we have to look at those? Yeah.
This is a better
Graph?
view.
Yeah.
You can simply see, look at that. Your physical memory utilization is nearly full. Your charge, if you click on overview, then you'll be able to see four informations. And it has a all breakdown as well. Particular breakdown. So this file and that file, they're taking a lot of resources. There the disk read write is happening over there. Network, which particular applications using your network, you can see all these things. What are the IP addresses, you can see from there as well.
You have to pay attention to every single detail here, or keep like.
No, not really, but you need to know if some particular um, variables making some issues, you need to turn it off from there. But this is more on view, you can't do any changes in here. Mostly this is for
Oh, yeah,
view.
you can't.
CPU, memory, disk, network. You can view individually or you can view all of them. But you can see that my um, network utilizations is high, disk utilization, CPU, all of them is pretty much high. Only memory is a bit less at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, other tools we have, this is called perfmon space slash rel. PERFMON slash rel.
There's no performance monitor.
This one, perfmon slash rel. And this one, once you click, then it will open the reliability monitoring. Reliability monitoring, you can see the review your computer's reliability and problem history. See, there's a index number 5 is sitting, mine one is in the middle.
Mine perform audio.
I think you just type reliability. View reliability history.
Okay.
What is now?
Yeah, yeah, I got
So this one you can see that um, stability index is, if it is in the middle, it's kind of okay. But if it is on the top, close to 10, that means this is the best one.
Yeah, I don't have that line going like that. I think I have like just a normal.
Which one?
Yeah, that blue line. Is it supposed to be on top or?
You don't have that one?
It's here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best computers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I got a lot of things happening in my
yeah.
computer.
That's
So
why I was like, I think mine's just normal.
10 is very good. That means is stable because you don't have many things happen with your computers. But my computers, many things happen, such as Windows Explorer didn't work. So if you click on particular cross tab, see the DWM,
Yeah.
this software was closed. So something happened in here.
I have no close tabs.
That's why your index is very high because nothing happened over there.
There's no X.
Correct. So mostly you have this warning, informations events, warning and critical. Right? This is stuffs we have. You can check over there.
So the warning one, what is just a
Warning is not that critical,
uh,
but critical is very important. Something major things happen. and this is just informational, it doesn't have any impact. So based on this, your if you have more critical things happen, your system stability is down. Now another thing, we have a performance monitoring. Performance monitoring, if you click on performance monitoring, you'll be able to see that current performance. Processor time, it is showing you the processor time information. This processor is pretty much good at the moment, is um, let's say somewhere around 20% level is running, so that means it's not too bad. But it has a few different view, one view, another view, report view. So only one report, doesn't have many stuffs. It has multiple view, line view, but this is to check how your particular processor they are working. But if you want to check more on other things, so you click on plus sign, and in here you have many other things, such as I want to see my um, I want to see maybe something with network, memory, maybe memory I want to see. Yes, so all the memory stuffs I want to see. So click OK. So see the memory, page fault and per second, availability bytes, all these small granular things you can see from here as well.
So I just click memory.
Yeah. So it will, but it's hard to keep track of all this stuff because it's a lot of values over there. So if you want to check only one value, such as um, write copies per second or something, if you whatever you tick, you will see only that informations. Okay.
Mm.
So this one sometimes is useful, but not all the time, because if you have so much variables, it's hard to keep track. But you're looking at which one is mm, using a lot of your resources. You can see this is a graphical point of view. We'll be able to see this one. Now, other things, we have a event viewer. This is really good. In event viewer, we'll be able to see many stuffs, custom row views, Windows log. Windows log is very important because what applications, look at that. Some applications related problem happen. I get critical. Windows cannot load the extensible counter DLL perf msql, that one. You can see that Windows could not. You can go back and see like who did something. What happened over there?
There's a warning when you click on warning.
Warning is okay,
Yeah.
but error means there's a problem happened. Some problem happened over there.
So when you click on error,
You just check in here general. This is the informations. There's a details button as well, but you check on general. If you go to another error, backup failed. So this error was related with the backup. Same like security, setup, system, it's many different um, warning in here and some informations as well.
You can't change anything here, right? You just
Now this is for, no, you can't change it, but you can view. But for the view, you have a better option. So if you click on filter on the right hand side, filter current log. On the right hand side, there's a filter current log. Just click on that one. So then you can, you want to see from last 12 hours, all the warning, informational, all these things you want to see. Then event source, just leave it default, but these things you want to see for last 12 hours or last, you can do last 1 hour. So this is the things happen in last 1 hour. You can see from here. So that means anybody uh, touch any applications, any systems, everything will be locked in different event logs. So from event logs, you'll be able to find all these informations. So filtering option is one of the very good options. And anything happen, some system is not working, you are not sure like what to do with that. If you go to evenware, it will at least give you some informations. Based on that, you can understand what's going on over there. So from this one, there's another thing called, this is the Windows tools we have from internal from the Windows. There's another thing called Microsoft Microsoft Message Analyzer. This is one of the applications. This is not part of the Windows. Do you have that one? Microsoft Message.
yeah.
We have.
No. It takes me time.
You can download.
Oh, so it doesn't come with the Windows?
No, this is a separate file. But just have a look. You can, what you can do with that. Let's say you create a, this is the default settings, but now new sessions, session 1, you want to say live trace, local host, local interface information, local interface information you want to check, and then start. So what it will do, you might need to run messenger as administrator to perform a live link clearance.
So you have to be an administrator.
Yes, you need to be administrator. So I click on local sessions, just a session 1, live trace scenario. What kind of test you want to do? You just want to check the local network interface. So it will check my local area interface and see what kind of communications I'm doing. It is showing the all times, what protocol I'm using, what time, what are the provider, event source. It will provide all the informations. What are the protocol, what are the port number, what IP address I'm using, source, destinations. So these are the local things is happening. So pretty much this stuffs you can see. There are many different trays which you can download.
So what does this particularly do, the message analyzer?
It will show you that what are the event is running inside internally. You can check those informations. Message analyzer means like these are the options, applications error happening, something is happening. You can see it records some steps. You can see what are the communications types is happening, what protocol they are using. All these stuffs you'll be able to check from here. This is a for free tools for internal communications, checkup, testing, and analyzing purposes. You can use this one. Okay, so these are the tools we be able to use internally inside our services. So
So when someone creates a program, they can use this to monitor.
no, this is for our Windows 10 monitoring purposes. We can use this one. For example, if someone's saying my computer is slow, something happening with the computer, cannot open applications, anything happen, Windows is slow, username and password is not working, network having some problem, unable to download the file. So not everything is internet faults. It could be something happen with your internal systems. Certain tab you can't open. So there's a lot of things can happen, but then you can check which particular area you're having problem. Task managers, performance monitoring, reliability monitoring, event logs, this kind of things you can use mostly.
But it's just for checking. You can't make.
No, this is monitoring purposes. This is not for fixing anything.
The fixing is different.
Fixing is you can pretty much turn it off, you can restart the computers, you can check what particular things, maybe increase the RAM, increase the CPU, those kind of things you can do. But system related what happened, you can't make many changes. You can do some changes, for example, some particular applications taking a lot of memory, so you turn off that one. So those kind of things you do, but you need to know that one, then you can take some actions. So this section we're going to look at some troubleshooting steps. Recovery in Windows 10, applications troubleshooting. These topics we're going to look at. File recovery in Windows 10. In this section, we're going to look at importance of file recovery. What is file history? Azure backup, backup and restore in Windows 7, previous versions tab, and comparing file recovery options, troubleshooting file recovery options. These topics we're going to look at. So importance of file recovery, some of the reasons for performing backups: protect against accidental file deletions, provide recovery from virus infections, provide various versions of files and folders, protect against total computer data loss, protect against total computer data loss, help ensure data availability. Make sure something get deleted, you want to recover, user accidentally delete something, virus attack happened, so you need to recover that. Windows 10 features, we have folder redirections, offline files, backup and restore, synchronizations with OneDrive, file history, work folders, system image, wbadmin.exe, that is the command line tools. With that we can work with the backups and stuffs and copying files. Azure backup can be used with Windows 10 as well. So we've got many options for the backup. First, we're going to look at what is file history. File history is saves backup copies of the files. Configure and manage by using control panel or the backup sections in the settings app. By default, profile folders and libraries are protected. You can protect additional folders by adding them to protected libraries. Using the backup options in the setting apps, you can save backup copies on a local drive, removable drive, or network locations. File history copies protected files hourly and stores copies indefinitely by default. You can preview and restore backup copies. You can restore to original or alternate locations. Right, so we're going to look at later on file history. Azure backup. This is another kind of backup. Azure backup means from your computers, you can back up your files and folders or entire operating systems to cloud. This is cloud backup. Microsoft Azure, we have a backup options. We can back up the entire device over there. And the tools we have backup and restore Windows 7, graphical backup tools in Windows 10, use volume shadow copy services for creating backups. By default, Windows backup system, they're using the volume shadow copy services. This is called VSS. Remember this one. Volume shadow copy service, with that it can back up all the stuffs. It can back up local disk, external disk, and network locations.
And that's in Azure only, right?
No, that's a Windows default backup system. They're using the volume shadow copy services. Normally, fast backup, it will take a bit longer time. It contains all the data. Later backups contain the changes only. Can backup folders, libraries, and volumes. Backup is in .vhdx format. You can use it for creating system image and system repair disk. Creates restore points used by previous versions. Restore data on original or alternate locations.
Now, what does it mean by restores data in original and alternate location?
That means if when you try to restore, for example, data is deleted from C drive, so it will restore in C drive.
Yeah.
Or you can set up where you want to restore the data. You'll have both options.
So we can so how we could create a new D drive. Oh, no, not a D drive. Like let's say we create an E drive.
Yes, you can save in different locations as well. Yeah, D drive you can save as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's just when you want to restore the original locations or restore in other locations. You can have these options. And the thing we have previous versions tab. Previous version tab enables user to view and restore previous versions. Files, folders, and volumes will be able to see. Data comes from file history and restore points. Each time when file history runs, when file is backed up by backup and restore, so all these scenarios, it will keep a previous versions. Now, comparing file recovery options, it depends how often, what type of files, system state, or recovery options, what particular things you're using, it depends on that. Troubleshooting file recovery options, whether is the pool properly configured, connectivity dependencies, target restore device configurations. During the configurations file recovery time, you need to consider these options. Now, application troubleshooting, what we have in here, they are more on compatibility related stuff. So troubleshooting Windows installer issues, resolving desktop application deployment issues, issues related to desktop app operations, resolving issues related to desktop app operations, resolving issues related to universal Windows app, troubleshoot common Office 365 issues, applications compatibility toolkit, troubleshooting common Internet Explorer issues, common Microsoft Edge issues. There, this is the applications is a default applications related with Windows, more on Microsoft applications, which you can do some troubleshooting around that as well. So troubleshooting Windows installer issues, verify and MSI is a default Microsoft executable file system. So MSI exec file can execute installer routes without errors. Latest updates, re-register MSI EX, reboot software context. So all these things is part of Windows installer. Resolving desktop app deployment issues, run as administrators. Ensure necessary dependencies are installed. Leverage the application's compatibility toolkit. Verify AppLocker configurations. It's saying whether like one of the applications we just tried, right? Microsoft Message Analyzer. So it required a administrative privileges, and then you can run that one. And there are many other options like applications compatibility toolkit. With that, you can check whether that particular applications will run or not. And sometimes maybe applications can be blocked by from your company group policy via the app locker. During the time, your applications may not work.
So, what is the leverage ACT?
Applications compatibility toolkit.
Okay.
Leverage means maybe you don't need to use that one without um, once you resolve the issues, you don't need that one. That's what he's saying. Issues related to desktop applications operations, missing operating systems or application features, incorrect applications device or security configurations, applications errors or performance issues, connectivity to dependencies such as database related um, configurations, app locker blocking. So if suddenly some applications is not working, it could be related with all these issues. How to resolve these issues? Install required features. Maybe you need some features, repair or reinstall. That means uninstall and reinstall again. Install the update. Sometimes update will fix some certain applications. So updates is very important. Or use tools to identify performance issues, which we have looked at in last sections. Task managers, performance monitoring, event logs. Event logs will definitely help you. And reconfigure the app locker. Maybe something to do with this app locker. Resolving issues related to universal Windows apps such as UAC settings. UAC means user account controls, those kind of settings. Maybe that is stopping user to access some particular applications. Security settings, group policy settings, latest versions, clear Microsoft Store cache, application licensing, and reinstallations. All these features that with that we can resolve some certain issues.
Where do we go for app locker again? Sorry.
App locker is located under the group policy. Inside the group policy is the application locker. Troubleshooting common Mac Office 365 issues. Older technologies such as ActiveX, Silverlight require Internet Explorer. Favorites are not automatically imported from Internet Explorer. Less commonly used features in Internet Explorer are not always available in Microsoft Edge. This is just saying the comparison. Like common Office 365 issues means maybe you want to run something in the Internet Explorer and it's not running over there, or Internet Explorer, some of the stuffs you want to move to Microsoft Edge. Those kind of scenario, maybe some of the favorites is not working. Those kind of issues may be related with Office 365. And this is the applications compatibility toolkit. Use ACT to test and verify your applications. Build a test workstation running Windows 10 that has all the required applications installed. Run the apps to see if there are any issues in functionality or behavior. Install the ACT on the workstations. Open the compatibility administrators and run any problematic apps within it. Create a custom database to hold test informations. Create an application fix if required. Save the fix to a distributable locations or media. Distribute the application fix around your organizations. It's saying that with the compatibility toolkit, you can find out what actually happened, why that particular application is not working.
So the test workstation is that.
Workstation is any computers. So what is the difference between desktop and workstations?
Workstations, the your administration.
No, they are actually same.
Oh, okay.
But workstations, they name it like in such a way that that means it may have a bit better resources than normal desktop computers. That's pretty much it. But the workstations, desktop, PC, computers, they're all same.
Oh, okay, they all.
But workstations may they refer to a device that will run in the business environment, and that will have a bit better hardware. Yes. So these things I think we have looked at. Now let's have a look few things with backup and recovery. Okay. So at first you go to backup. At first you go. Okay, you can check from there. Backup settings. You can see that there's many backup settings options you have. By default, maybe backup using file history. File history, it will backup in um, some locations. So I have put a backup. So if you want to put a backup, so click on backup now. This is the two options you need, right? So what is file history backup and what is system backup and Windows? If you go to that Windows 7 backup over there, so from here, if we go back and go to backup and restore, but bracket Windows 7. But forget about Windows 7. You just go to backup and restore that things. They didn't change the name. And create system image means entire operating system image backup you can create. All you need some external hard disk.
So this is just you backing up
Image.
okay. Operating system.
Operating system. Operating systems, image, everything, yes. So this is the operating system image backup, and file history is already related with the files, documents, folders, user profile, and everything.
But can I use the helper, the operating system image?
It depends what type. If you have a 256 GB space, you can do it. It depends on what speed you have. Depends on that.
But you need a big GPU.
Yes, correct. You need a like external hard disk. You just plugged in and should be fine. Yeah. So this backup, file backup, file restore and process, this is important. And Windows Server, Windows image backup, that is also important. So let's have a look, troubleshooting the operating systems, these sections. These sections we're going to look at troubleshooting Windows startup, troubleshooting operating system service issues. In troubleshooting Windows startup, we're going to look at Windows 10 startup architectures, overview of device recovery procedures, Windows recovery um, environment, advanced startup options, using the reset the PC features, overview of Windows system restore, and BCD configurations, Windows updates, all these things. So these sections we're going to look at mostly how to recover. If you have problem with operating systems, you're going to look at that part. Windows startup architectures, native UEFI or BIOS. At first it will load from the BIOS, then it will go to Windows 10 OS loader, Windows Core kernel anti-malware, third-party drivers, Windows logon, right? They are all, that's how the step by step Windows 10 actually loading. So overview of device recovery procedures, operating system is separate from the data, correct? Your operating system is separate and data is separate. You can recover, reinstall or upgrade it without affecting the data. So device recovery features in Windows 10, we have a driver rollback. Driver is related with those hardware and software, right? For the, if you put a USB stick, for that you have a drivers, you got a different drivers. So device recovery features in Windows 10, system protections and system restore, startup recovery, reset this PC, system image recovery, command prompt. So they are the all tools we have, right?
Mainly we use command prompt, right? Or
No, we have many options.
uh,
Reset this PC, this is one of the great options I would say. With that you can fix many issues. Let's you choose to keep or remove your files and reinstall the Windows 10. System restore returns your computer to an earlier state. System image recovery, a image, a system image recreated earlier replaces everything on a computer. Startup repair detects and repairs most common startup issues. Command prompt resolves problems with the service or device driver and runs diagnostic tools. Go back to the previous build. We can use preserves personal files, but changes to apps and settings are lost. So you got many options. So advanced startup options, we have enable debugging, enable boot logging, enable low resolution video, enable safe mode, enable safe mode with networking, enable safe mode with command prompt, disable driver signatures enforcement, disable early launch anti-malware protections, automatic restart behavior and recovery environment. All these options we have. Right, this is the reset this PC, keep my files, remove my files, all these options we have. We're going to look at this one in the lab so that time you can see. Overview of system restore, create snapshot of computer configurations. Snapshots are called restore points. Restore points do not include user data. You can use restore points to perform driver rollbacks, protect against accidental programs deletions, restore Windows configurations to earlier states. Restore points are created before system changes, such as automatic schedule and manual. those kind of system restore point we can create. If turned off, all the restore points will be deleted. Additional recovery tools in Windows recovery environment, we have a system restore, system image, startup repair, command prompt, startup settings, go back to the previous build, all these options we have. What is a BCD store? BCD stands for boot configurations data. So BCD is a boot configuration data or database that stores informations and configurations about the device boots to and operating systems.
Boot,
Configurations data. So sometimes we can, with the command prompt, we can manage these configuration settings, such as we can modify with startup and recovery, msconfig, bcd edit, bootrec. With that, we'll be able to manage this boot configurations data. Troubleshooting Windows updates. To test Windows updates first, Windows Insider, semi-annual channel targeted, uninstall updates, uninstall drivers. It's saying that sometimes update may make some problem. So we need to uninstall some updates, and you can check like certain Windows Insider or semi-annual channel, those kind of updates is making any problem or not. And after that, you can uninstall the updates. Sometimes some certain drivers can make a problem as well. After you install a driver, it making a problem inside your Windows is not compatible, is not. So if you delete that one or uninstall that one, that may resolve the issues. And system restore, this is another options we have. Now troubleshooting OS service issues. Operating system services, identifying failed services, disabling services, recovering a BitLocker encryption drive, troubleshooting locked accounts, identify sign-in errors. These are the operating system service related issues we can have. Operating system services load and run in the background without user interventions. Support applications request. For example, when an application needs to open a file, it relies on a system service to retrieve that file from the disk. Can make calls to device drivers when a request is sent to a physical device. Right? Identifying failed services. So Windows 10 provides a number of ways to fail services, such as we know that event where you can get log files that will be inside the event where. Stop codes. Stop code is some kind of error message will display. Sometimes you may notice that there's a black screen came up when you install the Windows and it's showing you some code over there. And action centers, that also, that's a GUI based that can provide you some options to fix the issues as well. Disable services, we know the services, right? If you type services, you can see all the services, right? Sometimes some services make some problem. Services means we are talking about this one. Many different services running, right? Sometimes some of the service may make some problem. We need to turn it off by right clicking that one. You can take actions. Restart, yes.
Is it better to stop it first and then restart? Or?
Yes, that's a better options. Safe mode, configurations, command prompt, system configurations tool. Yes, we have all these options. Recovering BitLocker encryption drives. When a BitLocker enabled computer starts, BitLocker checks the operating system for conditions that indicate a security risk. If a condition is detected, BitLocker enters recovery mode and keeps the system drive locked. The user must enter the recovery key and then you can open that one, right? Recovery key is 48 digits, isn't it? We have saved the BitLocker recovery key on the download folder, remember? If you open that file, that is actually 48-digit key and unlocks the system in recovery mode. That's why you don't save this in the computers. You should save in the some external, key or somewhere outside.
So BitLocker drive encryption key. Who provides this key?
This is a BitLocker is applications encryptions automatically generated.
So it's 48 digit, and there's dashes in between.
Yes.
There's a two of it. There's identifier and there's recovery key.
Recovery key is the important. Identifier is the serial number. So in unique is unique to a particular BitLocker encryptions can be stored in ADDS. If stored in ADDS, search for it by using either the drive level or the computer's account. That's another options we have. But main thing with this one is if someone else try to use these computers or want to open the disk or something they try to do, straight away it will be locked. And you need a recovery key to open that one. Somehow operating system could not recognize that one, it will ask you the key. Then you need to provide the key.
What if you lost, like someone lost the key or like,
no, then it will be big problem.
Yeah.
You can't, if someone lost the key, you'll have a big problem.
If that happens, like you have to go all the way back to the BIOS and do everything there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this one says common causes for repeated lockouts, cached credentials used by applications, service account password, persistent drive mappings. So credentials, you know that there's a Windows credentials and web credentials we have, right? From there, we can recover some of the stuffs, especially the many credentials from the web, especially the applications they are related with Microsoft Edge. You can find the password from that as well. And service account password you don't save, password will be automatically generated. But what you can do, you can restart the services. In this way, you can reset the services, right? Then persistence drive mapping, you can map a particular drive. Okay, now this section we're going to look at troubleshooting hardware and drivers. Troubleshooting device drivers, failures, overview of hardware troubleshooting, troubleshooting physical failures, right? These topics we're going to look at. Troubleshooting device driver failures, we have tools for managing and troubleshooting device drivers, driver rollback, managing signed drivers, staging device drivers, restricting device installations. So these topics we're going to look at. Tools for managing device, we need to go to device managers, right? And over there we have many options. In the device managers, we can view devices, their drivers, details, settings, and events. Enable and disable devices. Install, update, uninstall, or rollback device drivers. Troubleshoot device issues. and manage device locally only. Other tools include such as Windows PowerShell, defcon.exe tools. Remote desktop or PowerShell remoting, those kind of tools you can use. But in order to manage the all the devices hardware, device managers is the locations where we do these things. Any printer hardware, USB stick, any hard disk issues, any monitor issues, any hardware, all the hardware you can find in here.
on the device.
Yes. So in here we have a driver rollback, manage sign drivers, staging device drivers. Let's have a look all these things together. So if I go to device managers, and for example, I have my keyboard. This is my standard PS2 keyboard I have. Right click, go to properties, and from here we'll be able to see the driver informations, right? This is the driver date, driver versions, driver details. You can update the driver. For example, if it is downgraded, you can upgrade the drivers.
Or you just look at the keyboard. Like,
So anything related with the device, you can check from here. And if you want to uninstall device and install drivers, you can do all these things from here, right? Details, events, resources. There's the options to check. If you see the driver details, if you click on that one, then you can see the digital signer. Digital signatures is related with Microsoft Windows. Whether so all the device drivers should be digitally certified from Microsoft. Let's say you third-party cable you plugged in, or third-party USB stick you plugged in, it need a driver to communicate with this hardware. So it's good to have Microsoft signed, but even if it not signed by Microsoft, it may not work properly.
so, for example, what kind of like third party?
Let's say you play something, you put some, you know, one of the joystick or something in here. That's not, it's third party. So those kind of scenario, that driver installed in here, but your Windows cannot recognize that one. Those kind of issues can happen. But all the hardware, some hardware if you're using for your device, or maybe the web camera, external, speaker or sound box you add with that, those kind of scenario, you need to update it, yes. But main thing to look at from here, sometimes you may have problem with the drivers. You can update the driver. You can check whether driver is signed or not. And these are the options. Rollback means if you update, then you can roll back. Rollback means you go to the previous state, and that may resolve many issues.
But if you're assembling like a brand new computer together with the same, you bought it from the same company, you don't have to update drivers, right?
Normally, you don't have to update, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes because they comes with all the drivers, that's why you don't have to update.
Yeah.
But sometimes some additional things when you plugged in, they need to update. For example, this is our projector's pointer. So if you plugged in this one, it needed drivers that need to update. There are many other small things. If you connect, those things need to update.
And it will come up in the device manager if you connect it.
Yes, should come up in here. This one is there's no warning sign, but if something happened with that, there's a warning sign come up in here as well. There's a yellow color warning sign came up. That means something to do with that, right? Hardware troubleshooting. So we're going to look at hardware related issues such as we have physical issues or driver issues. Two things can happen. Controlling USB device, prevent users from installing any device, allow users to install only devices on an approved list, prevent users from installing devices that are on a prohibited list, deny read or write access to removable device or removable media. It's saying that USB device normally is not a good options for a user to plug in and comment. We doing in training purposes, but it may have some viruses, some other stuffs because normally their file systems and things is a bit different.
Mm.
So troubleshooting wireless device, we have a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth enabled, airplane mode, discovery, pairing, device proximity, external interface. Wireless device mostly related with our Wi-Fi connections in here. I'm connected with the wired, but it's connected to that network. But you can see the other wireless network. You can connect to any of the network if you know the password. And there's the aeroplane mode. You can use your computer as a hotspot, right? Mobile hotspot.
Well, with the airplane mode, is that can you explain that more simply?
Airplane mode means it will turn off all the other networking mode. That means there's no network connections in here. Everything will be off
Oh,
because in the airplane normally normally you don't turn on any of the networking devices. So for that reason,
yeah.
and same thing like your mobile phones, you turn off that one.
But I've seen people use internet in, in the plane, right?
Then they must not enable this one. This is like, for example, I mean, I have a short trip from Sydney to Melbourne. During that time, you can simply just enable that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really used airplane mode.
Second,
I never really used airplane mode.
I,
You don't know what
if
to use.
you don't do anything with that, so you don't have to. This is not any mandatory services. If you are in the plane, you should use the aeroplane mode. In this way, all the other network connectivity will be off from outside. It's like a look. It will be local mobile, not like a network mobile. So if you want to get the hardware informations, even via system informations tools, device managers, Windows PowerShell, Windows memory diagnostic tools, central device management inventory, all these tools you'll be able to use. Best practice for troubleshooting hardware issues, physical connections. So that's talking about physical layer, compatible device, check the event logs, something changed recently or not, such as recent driver change, like whether you update something or change something, update device firmware or BIOS, something you changed on the BIOS or not. Based on these things, uh,
Firmware issues, by
yes,
yeah.
firmware is the BIOS, yes. BIOS update, firmware update is the same thing. BIOS update and firmware update, that's actually related with the company. This is you don't manage. They manage. Manufacturer they manage.
Okay. Yeah, because the design mostly by them, by ourselves.
Correct.
So yeah,
Yes.
that's why.
Any like small routers, hardware, they actually create and manage and maintain that one. So sometimes they update something on the time they give you the options to do that. So replacing device. So if you want to replace any of the device, you need to know the time frame, estimated recovery time, service level agreements, data security issues, escalation procedures, warranties. You need to check all these systems. And in this way, you'll be able to manage this one.
You know, with the modern laptops, um, how do you change the battery and stuff? Is it do you have to go to?
So you just check the battery model and
Yeah,
just unplug the battery and then just put it.
yeah.
Simply, yeah. I've done many of them, hundreds of times.
But I remember like old laptops, you just there was like a simple battery at the back. You just flick it.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
understand what you mean.
yeah,
The latest model of the battery, yeah, they have like you need to unplug everything.
yeah.
They have a very tiny little battery attached with that, so you need to unplug that one, and then
Mm.
you can change it as well.
Right.
There's options, but not like the traditional one. That's you need to go inside, and they have a very specific hard disk, small hard disk, this size of this much of small hard disk they have,
Mm.
little like a SD card. Memory also little. Even 256 GB hard disk could be small like that. So vulnerable hardware device, we have a some drives such as USB drive, CD drives, power supply units, fans. There's many fans is running inside the laptops
Yeah,
and desktop. There's many fans. CPU and GPU, they're also very important. Central processing unit and graphical processor unit. We looked at in task managers, right? Processor and GPU. They're vulnerable. Something happen with the processor, get tired, or GPU may break down. Those kind of things can happen.
yeah,
Fans may be making a lot of noise. Power
yeah,
supply unit may have some problem.
yeah. But no, but normally when fans make a lot of noise, it's because of the heat. Because are hot.
Yes,
So
but if have some problem, sometimes fan gets faulty as well. So you need to
yeah,
change the fan. But these days, this kind of hardware change we do very less.
yeah, yeah. It's
Manufacturer,
because it's all like small now. And, it's
yeah,
very hard to change them.
hard to change them. Yeah. So this is covered by the manufacturer.
Yeah. But most people just take it to the computer repair shop. Something is wrong.
Yes. So computer, if you do not have any warranty, then you can go to computer repair shops and you can fix from there.
Yeah, over the years I've seen most people. If something bad happens to your computer, it's because they didn't clean it. The fans. They,
Yes. Oh, these days, over the time, it will get old and then
yeah.
pretty much.
Because it's very hard for like a normal user to mess up the CPU and stuff. Or it's
Yes, it's more
but
on device performance, not
yeah,
the
yeah.
user, not the
It's not the.
user.
It's because like when sometimes when you open a computer, it's so much dust in there,
Yes.
and it blocks the fans. So to clean the fans, because you know, other devices get overheated. That's why they're like, oh, my computers keep turning off. It's because
Yes.
it gets overheated very quickly. Fans can't do anything.
It's good. So you had done many things with the hardware, right? Back end,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not many things,
and
but like
you
general
have
knowledge, like
general,
yeah, repair computers.
yeah. So you got
Yeah,
idea
but
what it is.
not many laptops.
desktop.
Yeah, somebody says stay away from laptops. If you open it and then like it's very small. Obviously,
Guidelines for replacing hardware: identify the root cause, find the main issues, check the warranty. That's what we talked about. If you have the warranty, then you don't need to do anything. If it doesn't cover the warranty, then you can do something. And ensure about static electricity. Static electricity means computer parts when you touch, you should have a anti-static wrist, and then you should touch that one. Otherwise, it we have static electricity that may cause some problem for the device. User interruptions. Yeah, so we need to consider like if we change something by the time how user going to access this. Exactly same things we are doing for one of the customers. They got a this is a Mac computers has a big problem.
hardware problem.
Not sure. It's some very specific problem which we need to get help from Apple.
Uh-huh.
We can't fix that one because we don't know the cause. So they will fix that one. It says a warranty. It's a I think 7 8 months old laptop. Yeah.
So when something like that happens to you, like you have to take it to the Apple store.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's not many Apple stores like
They have many of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's in the city, right? No.
Yeah. Around many places they have process. If you can't go, you need to send via post office or something. But they have their coverage as well. Yeah. So Windows memory diagnostic tools. Normally, if you have some problem with memory, so it has automatic tools during the restart time. If you press F8, sorry, you may need to press F5 to check these stuffs. This is automatic. It will check that whether you have a problem with the computer's memory or not. So disk problem, you can use redundant disk, mirror disk. Two number of disk can fail without lost data is one. Parity three or more. Only one disk can fail. Two-way mirror, one disk can fail. Three-way mirror, two disks can fail. So all of these options we have. But in order to configure these stuffs, we must have to have a multiple disk. So this is the pretty much discussions about Windows 10. As you can see, there are a lot of important informations, right? There are many things we have looked at: how to install the operating systems, how to configure the operating systems. There are many settings features, desktop features, all the tools, backup and recovery, notification settings, right?
Yeah.
Systems, many things about Microsoft to Microsoft Store, file sharing, file systems, disk related stuffs you have looked at, right? Yeah. So all these things is very important. Now all you have to do, review the topics, and you go through the you got many notes, and I have shared with you the soft copy as well. You can just go through these topics.
So all this is on the
Yes,
soft
they have
copy
a
as well.
soft copy as well, same thing. And certain cases you can go back to books and check. Some of the stuffs you already understand, but still you need to just review the books. You read or don't read, but just check what is over there. So that's important. Let's look at some sample questions. We go to this is called examtopics.com
Oh, it's a website?
website. Yes, and if we go over there, our exam name is MD 101 Windows 10. Okay.
One atom?
MD 101. This is our exam name. There are many questions over there. Okay, 127 questions, which is not a lot. I'd say this is a very reasonable questions. You will from 127 questions you can study from here. You may get some questions from here. At least 50% questions you'll get from here. So that's a very good sites. So this one is saying your company has an isolated network used for testing. The network contains 20 computers that run Windows 10. The computers are in a work group. During testing, the computers must remain in the work group. You discover that none of the computers are activated. You need to recommend a solutions to activate the computers without connecting to the network to the internet. What should you include in the recommendations? They are not part of the domain. So
Okay.
Active Directory will be out of these discussions. Yes. Hmm, that's correct.
Yeah.
This one, so this device, they don't need any internet connections. KMS services can renew the license for them. This one is a bit tricky. You plan to deploy Windows 10 and Windows 100, Windows 10 to 100 secure computers. You need to select a versions of Windows 10 that meets the following requirements. Use Microsoft Edge as the default browser. Minimize the attack surface on the computer. Supports joining Microsoft Azure AD. Okay. Only allows the installations of applications from the Microsoft Store. Which of the best versions achieve this goal? More than one answer choice may achieve this goal. Select the best answer. So that means multiple operating system may meet this criteria, but what will be the best one? 10 Pro. The enterprise will definitely do, but Pro will be the cost effective.
No, I say, yeah, because I say
It will cover everything.
yeah, no, because
That is saying more than one answer, but select the best answer.
oh, okay. No, go. Because I thought it's like I looked at 100 secure computers, so I said like I thought it was a company. So
Computers.
yeah, no, because those computers you plan to deploy to an enterprise.
Yeah.
Right, that's what. So, but Pro will do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pro will do. So some of the stuffs you need to go back and check from the books as well. If you have any doubt around that, just double check those things. Then you have a computer name, computer runs Windows 7. Computer 1 has a local username called user1 who has a customized profile. On computer 1, you perform a clean installations of Windows 10 without formatting the drives. You need to migrate the users one from Windows 7 to 10. Which two actions should you perform? To answer, drag the appropriate actions to correct answer. Each actions may be used once, more than once, and things. Oh, this one doesn't have any questions.
Um. So it's going to be multiple choice, right? All
Yes.
the.
Now, multiple choice, drag and drop, fill in the gaps, true, false. This kind of things can be there as well. Sorry, this one doesn't have any questions in here. Okay.
No. For your exam.
Sorry.
For the main exam, is it going to
Same
be?
thing. Same. This is the past exam paper.
This is the okay.
This exam
So it's
came.
very similar. This is very similar.
They came before.
Oh, okay.
So this question is part of the season. There's many history or story. Each question in series contains a mid history diagram. Some questions. So this is You don't worry about that. This is just like every questions they say. That's not a questions, that's the informations. After you answer a question, you have a computer name computer one that runs Windows 10. Question start from here. Okay.
Okay.
There are the descriptions or rules and regulations for this. You have a computer name computer one that runs on Windows 10. A service named applications one is configured as shown like that. You have a service one service account, it's got a password. Okay, you discover that a user used a service one account to use in a computer one and deleted some files. You need to ensure that identity used by the applications one cannot be used by user to sign in the desktop on computers. The solutions must use the list principle of least privilege solutions. On computer one, you configure application one to sign in as the local system account and select the allow service to interact with the desktop checkbox. You delete the service account. Does this meet the goal?
So somebody deleted your files, then you just want to delete the account.
Mm,
You don't need to configure application one, sign in. Say yes. Oh,
all these complicated things, majority of the cases is no. So this one on a computer one, you configure application one to sign in as the local system account and select the allow services interact with the desktop checkbox and delete the service account. No, you should not delete the service account. Service account will not fix. If you delete that, is not fixing the issues. I'm not a robot. But these questions you can do. It doesn't take long time. 160, 127 is a very less questions. It may take few hours. Not in one day. You study like 50 questions a day. Next day you do 3 4 days you can cover all of them.
and they all have
After,
answers.
yes,
Yeah.
and after that we have some simple question practice test. Before you do the final test, you do the practice test with us. Then you do the final test. And if you get some questions from here and based on what we are looking at, I think you should be fine. But you need to review the topics. Questions you can read through. That's not a big problem. But let's say all the topics from the beginning you check. We talked about editions. We talked about many different versions. And you have Windows 10, you pretty much work around that areas. Go and check the menu. So in this way, it'll be
I can just do the theory mostly in this one, right? It's not that much practical.
in the no, there's no
Yeah.
practical, but need to understand the concept, how practically it works. See the same things question asked. You discover that a user service one account to sign into the computer and deleted some files. You need to ensure that identity used by applications one cannot be used by user to sign into the desktop computer one. The solutions must be in computer one. You assign service one that deny logon for local. Yes, you. This one is fixed. Oh, this one is also not fixing. So if you go over there,
So references, that's the book explains.
no, it's online, not book. So some of the stuffs you check from Google as well. Deny logon locally, how it works. It has bit of descriptions.
Why is it no? The why is answer no? I don't even.
Mm, let's check what is our discussions. Oh, sorry, we're here. So on computer, you assign service one the deny logon locally user rights. So from where are you going to deny that one? This is a separate service account. This account you cannot use for login. But if you say local system account, then you can select that one. There's two options we have. But you assign service one the deny logon locally user rights. So service one is dedicated for the services. So that's why if you provide locally, if you provide any user rights, that will not applicable. Local user we create in computer management over there, right? Users and groups. But service account is automatically created.
Can't deny it.
No, let's take this one.
Okay.
Oops. You need to ensure that, but this is the same questions, right? You computer one, you assign service one the denial logon as a service user right. You assign
Locally.
service one. Oh, this is locally user right, and this one is on a service user right. What do you think?
I mean, this has to be yes, right? If I don't, because yeah.
You assign service one the deny logon as a
So the question,
service
yeah, the
user
question
right.
to
Yeah.
read.
So you need to read. So main thing is if you read few times and put bit more attentions, I think it should be fine.
So why is this one yes again?
You assign service deny logon. So you are denying the user
Yeah.
to logged in with that account to the computers.
Mm. And the other one is locally. It's
Yes. So mostly everything is related with that service account. So and this is a manually service account has been created, but that's a bit look different account. Yeah, that's where you can bring other local user and make some changes. Mm,
so this one is saying when it says local.
yes,
So you have to bring someone.
yes. You open what's the issues in here? Username user one. You have a Microsoft Azure directory service tenant. Some users sign into their computer by using Windows Hello for Business. A user named user1 purchases a new computer and joins the computer to Azure AD. User1 attempts to configure the sign-in options and receives the error message shown in exhibit. Some settings are hidden or managed by your organizations. Windows Hello sign in Windows apps and services by teaching Windows Hello is not available.
How come these questions are online? Um,
Purchase and so user one has a part of the directory services Azure AD and they want to log in. So when they logged in, they get the error message. But this user has a new laptop or new computers with Windows 10. So what could be the possible issues? Purchase an infrared camera? Maybe no. Update the computer to Windows 10 Enterprise? What editions they bought? So that's what I don't know. But because they joined to the Azure AD, that maybe it's got some enable UEFI secure boot. Is it related with the secure boot? Install the virtual TPM servers. TPM is related with the. Hmm. What will be the answer? Secure boot. Update computer understand because secure boot is related with UEFI, those booting and stuffs. TPM is related with BitLocker, and this is out of
Okay, yeah.
infrared. So that's how you eliminate and find the right answer.
So, to I think if you go up, I think there's something for business. Some users sign in the computer using Windows Hello for Business.
Mhm. Yeah, if you want to enable this one, you need to have a Windows 10 Enterprise.
It's because that person didn't have the upgraded Windows 10. It just had Windows Pro.
Pro maybe, yeah. So if you simply go here, then you can see that stops. Sign in option somewhere here.
Windows Hello.
I have Windows Hello set up because I have Enterprise editions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you imported files. Because of imported files and stuff.
No, I have, my operating system is Windows 10 Enterprise. So simply you go from here. So based on what we looked at, plus if you go in here, you're going to learn many things from this one as well. This will help you to interact in different way.
Yeah.
Questions and see, oh, what do you study, what is there, what is there. So that's another way you can learn as well. And then you need to pass the exam. Okay. So there are some questions we have in the Dropbox folder as well. So what is that? MD100 simple 100 new simple questions. Just you can read through from here as well.
Yeah.
But many questions may be similar, but at first you go from the portal. Portal is the better one, I think. If no, portal means this is a Dropbox. This is the portal
Yeah.
websites. Yeah.
From the website, I will, if I go through all the questions, 127 of them, I'll get better understanding.
Yes, definitely. Yes. And then you do the exam.
How come these questions are online? Like, normally, when you do exams, they try to hide the questions.
Doesn't mean all questions will come from here. It's just like indications. People study updating something. If there is no indications, Microsoft may have some questions people collect from there. Many people they collect and put in one place. So that's the advantage. So I think yeah. So just study around that areas. You got the examtopics.com, okay? So you can study side by side 10 questions, 15 questions a day and see how it goes.
But other students study from
Yes, that's how they pass the exam.
so tomorrow we don't have any.
Tomorrow we don't have any classes.
And Monday I just come here Monday.
Yeah, same time. Yeah.
Is it good? Is it like so from Monday it's gonna be theory?
Once you prepare, then you do the exam. So
Also,
yes, but you should do the exam whenever you get a chance. But when you do the other courses, it will help you, because when you do the server course, you have many confusions about servers. You did the client one, so when you do networking, many things will be just simple for you. And then when you do the server, this client will be simple, then it will more make sense for you. And then when you do the exam, you got a good knowledge to do the exam.